Hello, folks and germs. Today I am excited to talk to you. I've been anticipating this moment for the last couple days. You see, I'm about to talk about a movie, right? In this movie, I got excited just thinking about talking about it with you people because more people need to know about this movie. This movie here is spectacular. It's fantastic. It is my favorite film of 2017. Not only is it my favorite film of 2017, it is the best film of 2017. I'll probably most likely take that to my freaking grave because no film this year has got me thinking so much about any other film. No film this year have I gotten the most thought out of. No movie. It's not the most pleasant movie to watch, but it's the movie that I think about the most. It's the movie that I can come back to and think, wow, that scene, I remember that scene. That was a great scene. That has a lot of great scenes in it. That violence, that's some great violence too. Like, how great is that violence, folks and germs? Isn't that some great violence? That's some brutal violence there. That's brutal. They knew how to handle that. That was some good budget constraint. They didn't go all out. They knew where to handle their budget. And they knew, since this was a low-budget movie, that they needed to handle their budget a bit better. And that's responsible. That's some responsible filmmaking, folks. Now, what's this movie I'm talking about? I'm going on for a hot minute, and I still haven't gotten to the movie yet, because I'm just excited. I want you to see this movie. You need to see this movie. You already know what movie I'm talking about. It's in the title. Or title, depending on where you're watching this. But you just need to see this movie. Just know you have to see this movie, because you already know what movie it is. You read the title. But in case you didn't read the title and you just kind of clicked on the video randomly, it's Brawl in Cell Block 99. Yes, that's right. And what I like about this case is that it's a slipcover. More Grindhouse-y slipcover, and I like that a lot. So, what's Brawl in Cell Block 99 about? What's it about? It's about a guy named Bradley, played by Vince Vaughn. Vince Vaughn, yes, the great Vince Vaughn, the fantastic Vince Vaughn, the guy who, unfortunately, for the longest time, folks, was in some pretty bad comedies. And, you know, he's a funny guy. We gotta respect him. He can be funny at times. But he hasn't been in a good comedy in a long time. The Internship, that one movie he was in with Kevin James, yeah, that guy. He handled himself well, but unfortunately, those movies just didn't work. They didn't work at all. But then he decided he wanted to do more hardcore movies. He wanted to be more an intimidating guy. And he's a tall guy. You know, I'd be looking, like, I have to look up at him to see him. I don't even think he'd fit in this basement here. Like, this is my shooting room. I don't think he'd fit. Like, I think he'd have to, like, kneel down. That's how low this ceiling is, folks. Or either that or I'm that short. But anyways, what I'm talking about here is Brawl in Cell Block 99. I got awkward there for a moment. Sorry. But Brawl in Cell Block 99, folks. This is a movie. Now, it stars Vince Vaughn, like I said, as Bradley. Bradley, he's kind of down on his luck. You know, we get that story. He's down on his luck, getting laid off from his job. His wife's cheating on him. He breaks a car. Yes, he tears a car to shreds. He just destroys this car. He maims that car. He's like, breaks it. And apparently Vince Vaughn was actually the one breaking that car. And Vince Vaughn, the size of a guy he is, like I said, I look up at him like, wow, you're terrifyingly tall. And he's built. The guy's huge. He got muscle. Like the guy in the movie, one of the security guards in the movie says, what's that muscle for? Is it just for show? And he just says, helps him pick up stuff. And that's what it does. That guy would scare me. I'm trained in martial arts, and I'd be scared to mess with Vince Vaughn. That guy's just a scary looking guy. So it's good that he started taking up roles where he was a more intimidating man. So, like, in Hacksaw Ridge, that was one of my favorite movies of 2016. Yeah, 2016. And now, here he is in Brawl in Cell Block 99. He is in my favorite movie of 2017, folks. This guy is on a streak. He's on a streak. God bless Vince Vaughn, folks. Like, he's on a streak. It says on the back of the box, here, Vince Vaughn is revolutionary. And it didn't say revolutionary. It says, I'm stupid. I'm sorry. It doesn't say revolutionary, but he is revolutionary. Vince Vaughn, you're on a revolutionary path, my friend, and you need to be going on to big things. You're like, I see your name up in lights everywhere. But anyways, he plays Bradley. Like I said, down on his luck, destroys a car. So he gets into selling drugs, and he winds up doing well for himself. He gets a better house, gets a better car. His wife's pregnant. She stopped cheating on him. And then he gets caught up in a little bit of an issue, folks. Unfortunately, he gets caught in a deal. His deal goes bad. He gets stuck with people. He even says he doesn't trust these people, but does that matter? No, of course not. Because if it did, he wouldn't. Because if it's worked out in his favor, we wouldn't have a movie, unfortunately. So, there's a shootout with some cops, and Vince Vaughn could just walk away. And he'd be scot-free. But unfortunately, he couldn't walk away. He has to protect these cops. He has to do something to save these cops because he's a good guy. He's in a tough situation, but he's ultimately a good guy still. So he does that, but he gets arrested. And the lawyer saying, hey, if you might get some time off because you help the police. But as we see in this movie, nothing really goes Vince Vaughn's way, or Bradley's way, because that's the character's name. Nothing really goes his way. So even though he helped the police, even though he helped the police officers, he gets 7 years in prison. And, you know, you see this guy's face. He's like, he doesn't show any emotion. He doesn't show remorse or anything like that. He's just like, I guess it's the hand I'm dealt. He just deals with it. And that's something I wanted to see. That's something I really like to see in this movie. He's not like pouty or anything like that. He is just pure, unadulterated, just, this is the hand I'm dealt and this is how I'm dealing with it. And throughout that movie, that's just what you understand, that this is his character. This is how he is. It's upsetting for us to see, but he's just numb to it at this point, and that's almost kind of refreshing. But anyways, so he goes to prison, and he's not treated well there at all. The guy who lets him in, he's a jerk to him. One of the police officers is kind of a jerk to him, but he says he's just trying to intimidate him because he wants to get him in his boxing club. That's one thing I have to say that's weird about the back of this box. I think it's on here. It says, a former boxer named Bradley. They only bring up that he was a boxer once, and it's very light, so I don't know even why they put it on the box. But anyways, he wants to join the boxing club, and then all of a sudden, the movie almost lost me here because I was confused as to what was happening. But if it wasn't for this moment, we wouldn't have the plot. His wife gets abducted, and then this one guy played by Udo Kier, which he's just the guy that kind of randomly shows up. What's up with Udo Kier? Why does he just show up in things? He's like the guy who does and doesn't have a career. It's fascinating. Udo Kier is my fascination because he is in so much random stuff, but he doesn't actually have an acting career. He's just a guy that's there to me. I don't see him he's not like a billable name. Like, I don't even think I see his name anywhere on here. No, I do. And if it's for Blade, and if I remember Blade correctly, he was like a small part in that too. Like, he's just the guy who's just kind of there, you know? Like, that's him. Like, he's not like a marketable name at all. And that's like, and like, I kind of get it because he's kind of just as acting. But in here, he's fine. But that's because he only has a few scenes. I'd see him being a good mob boss. But anyways, he shows up to the prison and he says, we have your wife abducted, and we have an abortionist, which I never thought I'd hear that term before, abortionist. He says, we have an abortionist, and if you don't kill this person in cell block 99 of a separate prison, we're going to go into your wife and dismantle your child, basically. Like, rip its limbs apart while it's still in the stomach. That was brutal. That was dark. I was like, whoa, that's deep. But as the film plays on, he has to now go into this really high security prison. I can't remember the name of the prison, unfortunately. And so he gets into a few fights at the prison he's in now. He gets transferred to this new prison. And then a twist happens to where he has to go into cell block 99, which is the most highly guarded, highly detained part of any prison, which I don't think that's actually legal for that type of thing, but I don't know. I'm not a part of the justice system. I don't know. Like, it just seemed a little too inhumane. But anyways, I don't know. I guess I'm not a part of the criminal justice system at all. But anyways, that's where he is. So, how's the movie overall? And like I said, if you haven't been able to tell, I love this movie. This movie is a masterpiece. This movie is shot almost amateur-like, but it's not. It's an artistic choice, and I like that a lot. There's a lot of flat angles, a lot of still angles, and there's not a lot of music. There's not a lot of noise in this movie. There is some music, and when the music is on, it's really good. It's kind of like 70s style, grindhouse type movie music, which fits perfectly with the tone of the film. But ultimately, the film looks amateurish, but in a more artistic sense. Because this guy, the guy who directs this movie, I have to look up his name real quick. Hold on. Give me a moment. Shouldn't take too long. Can't believe I'm not finding his name. Why am I not finding his name? Well, anyways, the guy who directed this movie directed another movie called Bone Tomahawk, and that wasn't shot amateur-like at all. And I don't know which one had the bigger budget, but I think Bone Tomahawk might have. But anyways, I like this a lot more than Bone Tomahawk. I like Bone Tomahawk was fine. I don't think it's as good as like all the critics were saying. It's a little too slow every now and again. The kills were great, but obviously because this guy just knows how to handle the budget with the kills. But it just kind of felt a little too stale, a little too slow. But this one though, this is the movie. But anyways, you can tell this guy knows how to shoot scenes more like not amateur like, but here he's kind of, it looks like he's doing it intentionally to bring a like sense of like eeriness, like a more depressing, more disturbing, and that's what makes it work. And then you get to the violence. The violence in the movie, one thing I have to complain about is that one of the reviews on the back of the movie is the best action movie of the year. It's not an action movie. This isn't an action movie at all. It's a thriller movie with fight scenes. It's not an action movie. I wouldn't call it an action movie. I mean, I guess that's neither here nor there. That's subjective, I guess, if you want to call this an action movie. If you want to call it an action movie, fine. If you want to call it a horror movie, fine. If you want to call it a romantic comedy, I don't care. You call it whatever you want. But I see it as a thriller with fight scenes in it, and the fight scenes in this movie are fantastic. Now, you're not going to get something like The Raid. It's not that type of movie. But nothing like The Raid or Headshot or Killer or Die Hard. It's not that type of movie. What you're going to get is really hand-on-hand fisticuffs, like brutal stuff here, folks. And you feel the punches. Every time someone gets punched, you feel it. And bones break. And it looks and feels real. That's what I like about this director. He knows how to make this stuff look good. And every time someone's bone would snap or a punch would land, I would audibly go, ow, because I felt like I was getting hurt. These are the most really well executed fight scenes I've seen in a movie in a while. Like, these put Marvel movies to shame, and these fight scenes are like a minute long each, and that just shows that you don't need a big budget and big special effects to make an effective fight scene. That's why I love this movie so much. And the gore, and like, there's not like a ton of splatter or anything, and you're not gonna see like blood like gushing over the walls, but you do have some pretty brutal moments. There is blood in it, and there's one moment I was like, oh, that's actually really grotesque, and it's wonderful. It's really well done. Now, when it comes to the violence, the only issue, the only time I didn't like it is literally the last frame of the movie. The last frame of the movie is a big complaint of mine because it was too cartoonish. It would have worked if they would have just cut to black immediately after you hear the first instead of going through what they did then, because I just felt like ending it like that was a little too cartoony, a little too silly. But I'm not going to let something that tiny, that little minuscule, that literal frame affect my view of this movie, because this movie is just way too good, folks. You need to see this movie. And the guy who directed this movie is directing a movie, I think it's coming out this year or next year, called Dragged Through the Concrete, and it's about police brutality, and that should terrify you. Can you imagine what this guy is going to do with a movie about police brutality? That horrifies me. Like, what are you going to do, man? Like, you're a madman. I love you, but you're a madman. I am scared for my life to see what this movie is going to be like. Like, him and Jeremy Saulnier are like the two madmen of the industry that I adore right now. Jeremy Saulnier made Green Room, which is my favorite movie of last year, and this is basically the Green Room of this year, where the movie I want to talk about the most. And these two guys are like the madmen, the mad scientists of this industry right now. These guys need to get more work. We need to see more from these guys. These guys need to get some big, like, maybe not like explosive budgets, but I want to see their movies on more screens. We need to get them. We need to get their names in lights, folks, because these guys are mad scientists. They know how to, like, they're the Frankensteins of this industry. Like, in an industry that's full of corporate BS, it is nice to see some smaller guys giving us a breath of fresh air with the action and horror genres. And I am both excited and terrified to see what Dragged Through the Concrete is going to be like. And Jeremy Saulnier, I can't wait to see more from you too, buddy. Give me something good. Please do not disappoint with your next movie. Anyways, my friends, definitely see Brawl in Cell Block 99. And if it wasn't for Frank Piccarelli, I wouldn't even know this movie existed. Just a random Facebook post, and then I saw it at Target and I bought it. Anyways, guys, catch you later.